Pressure on women to marry and marry early, even when they are not psychologically and every other way ready for marriage. And so let me give you an example. A few years ago, I was home. I was in my hometown in the village, and so some of my cousins were talking about the fact that we had to go out and just be seen during Christmas. Christmas is usually in the East. Christmas is usually a time where you just walk around, and have drinks and stuff like that. And so they were telling us to go out more, and an older auntie was telling us to go out more so that the people from abroad, in quotes, will see us. Yes, will see us, and before you know, come and knock on your father's door. And it was it was funny to me because at the time I don't think I was even thinking of marriage. But she was already calculating when myself, of course, I and my other cousins would marry, even when we hadn't even started thinking of it. And so there's this pressure that is unnecessary many times, because if you look at it, even when people rush into marriage alliances, in quotes, it doesn't necessarily guarantee happiness. But people think that when your family, your extended family, is happy, then you should be happy by default, and it doesn't work like that. So it's more about the pressure, pushing away the pressure, discovering yourself, being confident in your own skin as a woman first, before you now take yourself to getting married. Because by the time you get married, you shouldn't kind of disappear into the air. You should just be a good partner for whoever it is that you marry, such that you're making yourselves happy first before the extended family, and not the other way around. Like one of the characters, Munachi's sister, Adana. Now Adana is someone who was, of course, pressured into marriage. It was an arranged marriage. She was pressured into marriage, and you saw that she was going through a lot of physical abuse. And her mother, anytime she goes home, or even when she goes home to report the case, what would her mother do? Don't worry, everything is fine. And she would just kneel down and pray, and that's it. And she hope that, okay, God will come down and arrange everything. But then she will tell you that as long as you are married, we are okay, because it means that we can lift our heads out in society. But you can see that the problems they're still there. They don't go away. Yeah. So I think that's.
So, but you've not answered my question about.
Maybe I think I was trying very hard to circumvent your question.
No, you were trying to dodge my question. Yes. The whole idea of, I'm not talking about women alone.
Okay.
It's a growing cause. It's a growing agenda of a lot of people. I am going to probably chat up the UK girl, UK Nigerian girl, and marry, and probably for the visa. I don't understand. You understand? And so I find that. Interestingly, I find that for the first time, apart from one or two new books in your book, hiding there, no reviewer has seen that. So I want to know where you get that from, and you of course told me where you got that from, and why you think that it is now a growing interest to link yourself up outside Africa.
Okay, I would say that, let's say these days, marriage is becoming a business of sorts. And not just for yourself, but to increase your prospects and your social standing. So many times people get it into their head, think that if they marry someone who is based abroad, because they're facing challenges in Nigeria, so if you're abroad, then it means that you're good and you're okay. Then it means that I would be able to escape the harsh reality of where we're coming from and see better prospects outside. Of course, it's also about the whole. Almost everybody here is on a social path, one social path or the other. And the reason why we are there is not just because of ourselves, but because everybody sees us as being. I think there's a quote like that, but I can't quite remember it. Something about we being in existence. Our reason for being in existence. I think you know what I'm talking about. Our reason for being in existence is really about being appreciated by other people, being acknowledged as being alive. So the whole social thing, if I marry someone there, then people will think that I have arrived or that things are looking good for me, even though I may get there and be doing something else. So, I mean, I can't really.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. Yeah. I hope one of the major questions I would like to ask you about your book is the fact that you have talked about commodification of woman, how a woman is sort of exchanged for a dowry, a huge price. And of course, these are things that people like J.P. Clark and Sherika has expressed. But these issues still remain in contemporary times. And so you look at that Eastern tradition of the huge dowry, the huge cash, and how you exchange that for a bride. So what fascinates me, and the question I would like to ask is, does that remove the rights of that child to rebel against that marriage? To say no to that union?
Okay, so the society today, this is what we met, this is what we see now, that the dowry really is an exchange for, it's more like you're buying the rights for you to make your own decisions somehow. With all due respect, I mean, it's supposed to be interesting, but somehow, I think many women, they get lost in the entire process. They, I don't know, maybe it's the influence of their parents, tradition has been passed on from generation to generation. Somehow we just feel that when you get married, we have collected something on your behalf, so we're sending you there to kind of disappear. Something like that. Just disappear and you wouldn't be yourself anymore. But the book, even though if you notice, I didn't quite take sides in the book because I know that many times people have brought up that question. How come? So what are you saying in essence? Are you saying that we should do this or we should do that? And I tell people that the book doesn't really tell you what to do. It just brings out both opposing sides and just tells you that you should look critically and see how best to bring yourself as an individual. The woman is an individual first, whether she's single or whether she's married. It doesn't change the fact that she is still herself. And the reason why we came into this world, one by one, and not two, not paired up already.
Yeah.
And when we are living, we're also living, just by ourselves. So, it's all about individualism, understanding and, exploring your own possibilities as a woman.